Beck and welcome to the 20 questions book tag. I'm just going to get rolling. So the first question is, how many books is too many in a series? Can I just say One Piece? Is that enough of a roast? I genuinely want to start One Piece. I think I'd really like it, but it's just so much. It's so much. So is it too much? For me at the moment, yes. But winding it back to actual book series that I've been interested in, I do love a good 4 to 5 book series, but some series can be too long, some can be too short, some are unfulfilling. So it honestly really just depends on who's writing it and what the subject matter is. But for the most part, I do love a good 4-book series. I think that's kind of the sweet spot for me. I love fantasy so much that I enjoy when it can be broadened across its scope of 4 books. That is a meal to me. That's a meal. Question 2 is, how do you feel about cliffhangers? And I may be a masochist because I kind of love them. Obviously, if they are done properly and aren't contrived or anything just to, hook you for the sequel, if they are genuine character arc sequels that are going to be delivered on later, like in the Dresden Files, which had beautifully done cliffhangers, which very much emotionally wounded me, but in a beautiful way. If it's done well, it's done well, right? So yeah, I love a good cliffhanger. Question 3 is hardcover or paperback. And if you look at my bookshelves, pretty much mostly paperbacks are going to be on there, to be honest. And that's mostly because in Australia, it is just easier and much cheaper to get the paperback. Physically for the reading experience, it is much better as well. But honestly, I do love a good hardback, especially when you peel off the dust jacket and there's beautiful embossing or something underneath. I love a good hardback, but I don't really physically read hardbacks, so I can't really justify to myself getting many of them. Obviously I do own some, but my paperbacks definitely outweigh my hardbacks. So for this question, I would have to go paperbacks. Question 4 is, what is your favorite book? Wolf Song by TJ Klune. I obviously had to pick just one, but I feel like this one is actually pretty accurate. I did want to say Way of Kings or something by Brandon Sanderson. Honestly, I've read a few Brandon Sanderson books recently and they haven't quite hit the same, so I am reevaluating my favorite status in my head. I think that series is still going to stay quite up there, but I just had to branch out a little for this. So that is why I chose Wolf Song, which is an urban fantasy male-male romance. And it's got beautiful found family and lovely relationships. And it's just got such a brilliant support, which is why I go back and love this. And again, it emotionally destroyed me, but in the best way. Question 5 is least favorite book. And that would be my 1 star for The Painted Man or The Watered Man by Peter V. Brett. I can't stand that book, mostly because it used sexual violence to develop all of its female characters to the point where they are acting like sexual violence is funny in the book. And I'm like, this isn't funny at all. This is disgusting and awful. So yeah, I regret that I finished that book because I should have probably DNF'd it, did not finish it and put it down. But that was at the time that I wasn't really DNFing many books. So if I picked up something like that now, I would just straight up put it back down. I would not make time for it whatsoever. So yuck, don't want to read ever again. Question 6 is love triangles, yes or no? And can we not? Can we just collect ourselves and grow as people? Because I don't want that drama. Unless honestly it is a love triangle that become a healthy poly relationship together. But then in that sense, I don't even know if it could be called a love triangle as a definition. So no, we don't want any love triangles here. We just want good characters that are healthy and understanding and want to grow as people and can trust each other and the people around them. That's what we want. Solid character formation and good relationships. No drama, please. Can the drama, because there's got to be some form of drama to make the book work, can the drama just be from them trying to save the world? External drama, not interpersonal drama? That would be great. Question 7 is the most recent book that you just could not finish, and that would be Crucible of Chaos for me, which is a almost standalone prequel to Sebastian de Castell's Greatcoats series. So this occurs after the Greatcoats, but it's the prequel to the Court of Shadows series, which starts out with Play of Shadows. So all of that said, I did not like it. I got 64 pages into it and I wanted to poke my own eyes out because I could not stand the narration of Estevar. So I'm very relieved that I decided to put this down because afterwards I felt nice and free. Question 8 is a book that you are currently reading, and ironically, after talking about Crucible in my previous question, I'm soon to start Play of Shadows by Sebastian de Castell because I figured if Crucible was almost like a standalone, and I know that Play of Shadows follows a different cast of characters and a different main character, I'm like, I'll give it a go, and then if I don't like it, I'm just gonna surrender because I feel like at that point I would have given it a red hot try, and if I don't like Play of Shadows, then I guess it's just over for for me. Question 9 is the last book you recommended to someone, and I think I recently posted, I'm not sure when this video is going up, but I think I recently posted my post-apocalyptic recommendations. So I would cite that video, I guess, if you wanted to go and check it out. I just recommend books all the time. Like I feel like I recommended Wolfsong earlier, so go pick up my favorites, please. Question 10 is the oldest book you have read, which goes by publication date, and for me that would be Assassin's Quest. It actually humbled me looking at how old this book is. It's published in 1998, which honestly I have no words. This is such a good fantasy series and book. Like I can't believe that it was written what feels like ages ago, because this feels almost so modern as well. Oh, it's just so good. The character work is incredible. So again, with the recommendations, this is another recommendation. Pick up the Farseer trilogy. Question 11 though is, what is the newest book that you have read? And I would cite probably The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo, which was an April 2024 release. I also read The Court of Wanderers here, which is also an April 2024 release. And then a cozy fantasy book, which is Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, another release. I think this was May 2024. I just got it a bit early from the publisher. I am planning on reading this almost at the same time as I pick up Play of Shadows. So I technically haven't read it yet, but it will be read. Question 12 is favorite author. And like I said earlier, I think Brando Sando is on the outie with being my favorite author, because he's written a few doozies that personally just haven't hit with me. I hated all of his Kickstarter books, which is such a shame because I backed the Kickstarter and I thought they would be amazing. Separate reviews for each book exist, so I'll link those in the description for you, but it feels like I can't cite him as my favorite author anymore, even though his key series like Mistborn and Stormlight are still my favorites, so not all hope is lost. I would say that Robin Hobb is definitely a favorite author because all of her books in the Realm of the Elderlings series, which is like 16 to 18 books, I can't remember the exact amount, but I loved all of them. And even though my reread for this one is paused because it's just got such emotional turmoil that it affects me on such a deep level, I needed a break and I've taken a bit too long of a break. But Robin Hobb is a favorite author. She is incredible. Her character work is to die for. I love it. But I would also very much say Becky Chambers is one of my favorite authors because I've loved all of her Wayfarers books, which is, this is book 1 in that series. And then I also really loved the prayer books. I feel like the first one wasn't as good as the sequel, but I really like the tone of it and almost the vibe of it, and how the first novella is a break to take a cup of tea and just sit down and evaluate. And then the next book is about productivity and not forcing yourself to be productive all the time and to reassess, who you are in terms of how you exist in the world. I think those are beautiful messages and I really enjoyed the coziness of those, and I really loved the character work and again the intention of the Wayfarers books as well. And then To Be Taught If Fortunate I really enjoyed too. So I've loved all of Becky Chambers' work and I really hope something else is released soon because I need more. I need to read more. Question 13 is borrowing books or buying books. I want to buy so many books. Like I want to do a huge book haul, but because of cost of living and owning our own home and having renovations and everything, I have not been able to afford anything. So I have been borrowing books, and Libby has actually saved my life so many times. The amount of audiobooks I have borrowed on Libby is insane. I think if I was paying this in Audible or Scribd or whatever service, I'd be paying so much money. It would be ridiculous. But I get to try so many audiobooks and just return them, and then there's no consequence. It's like buying a book for free because I get to try it and then just return it if I don't like it. It is excellent. Does not beat the feeling of coming home with new books. That's a feeling that I'm chasing often. So I'm just gonna have to sit tight and wait until I can afford a bit of a book haul. That would be great, but yeah, borrowing books for me at the moment is really what's getting me through. Question 14 is a book that you dislike that everyone else seems to love. I would say Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, The Sunlit Man, The Atlas Complex, which was such a disappointment, Empire of the Vampire, which has so much unnecessary hype in my opinion, and also The Great Hunt, which is the second Wheel of Time book. Just nopes across the board for me. Question 15 is bookmarks or dog ear. Dog ear is when you fold down the corner page so that you don't lose your place. If you didn't know what that is, I assume most people know what it is. I dog ear all the time and I would feel bad about it, but also they're my books. If it was someone else or if I'd borrowed a library book, I'd use a bookmark. I dog ear pages all the time. I just don't care anymore. I don't have time to go and find a bookmark. I'll just dog ear my page and move on with my life. Question 16 is a book that you can always reread, and I have reread Silver Under Nightfall like 3 times now. I love this book so much. It's one of my favorites. And then also another one that I can continuously reread is Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. They have a new book coming out this year called The Pairing in August, and I don't think I'm going to be okay. I think there's going to be another book that I continuously reread, and I'm really really excited about it. Question 17 is, can you read while hearing music? No, please shut up. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I need absolute silence. And that is why noise cancelling headphones are a blessing. Question 18 is one point of view or multiple point of views. And my preference is one point of view in third person relative. So you're getting descriptions and their name and you're not directly in their head. Although I can still read first person perspective, like Trader's Blade or the Great Coat series, for example, are from Falkio's perspective, or the Dresden Files are from Harry Dresden's perspective. Both of those series have very strong character voices though. So I feel like they're the exceptions almost. I very much do prefer the third person relative though. Obviously, because I read so much fantasy though, I do read multiple perspective books, but I feel like I'm getting more picky with those, and they really need to be descriptive or have a very distinct tone of voice or way of speaking to have those multiple perspectives kind of varied. If they sound too similar, I just go, I cannot be bothered with this, and I put it down. I've done that a few times. So yeah, they need to be quite specific if they're multiple perspective. I think I'm just going to mostly stick to single point of view because that is where I garner most success. I've got question 19 and 20 left, and 20 is essentially like, who do you tag? And I don't really tag specific people, so if you want to do it, go for it. But question 19 is, do you read a book in a single sitting? Not anymore, thank you to adulthood. If it was a graphic novel or a manga volume, then I probably would read it in one sitting. But yeah, I can't read a book now in a single sitting. I'd probably read it over 3 days, like minimum, maybe a week or even longer. Audiobooks, if they're shorter, obviously one sitting would work if I'm like cleaning or something or driving somewhere. But unfortunately, it's not the days anymore where I can just sit and read a book in one sitting. How sad is that? I want to read so much and I don't have time for it. I need to make time also for my other hobbies as well. Obviously, filming and editing stuff is one of my hobbies, but so is reading, and then video games, and I want to spend time with Dave and watch movies and stuff. Like, there is so much to do and so little time to do it in. But anyway, that is my 20 questions. Let me know a book that you love to reread. I would love to know down below, but thank you so much for watching this video. I'll come chat to you down below in the comments, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.